Hey, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to build a wooden skeleton just like this guy. It's a pretty simple and fun project to do for Halloween. Let's get started. All right, the first step I want to do is estimate how much of this fence pick I'm going to need to cut out my pieces. So maybe about 16 inches. All right, now that we got our piece cut, I'm going to run it through the planer to make it a little bit brighter and easier to trace the outline. You could also sand it if you don't have a planer. Okay, now we got a nice smooth piece. I'm going to take a piece of carbon paper and then trace out our shapes onto the board. That looks pretty good. Now it's time to trace out the rest of the pieces. Okay, I got all the shapes we need traced out onto the board. Now we'll head to the scroll saw and get them cut out. I'll be making the skull piece 2 pieces thick, so I'm going to do a rough cut around the skull and then glue 2 pieces together, and we'll cut out the final shape later on. For some of the smaller pieces, I use a pair of pliers to hold them to keep my fingers at a safe distance. With the glue fully dry, now it's time to cut out the skull. To give the skull a little bit of depth, I'm going to cut out a square on the back side of the teeth. Then to round off any rough edges, I'll use my Shinto rasp. For the eyes, I'm going to drill out a recess using a 1 1/8 inch Forstner bit. I'll go about 1/4 of an inch deep just to give it a little bit of depth. Then I'll do the same for the nostrils. For these, I'll be using a 1/8 inch drill bit. Then a quick sanding to remove any pencil lines and loose fibers. I'll be using some number 12 cotton twine to hold the pieces together. I need to drill a hole all the way through the top of the skull, and then also through the midsection. At the shoulders, I drill a hole about 3/4 of an inch deep. For the arm and leg sections, I go all the way through the piece. On the hips, I drill a hole all the way through on both sides. And then for the hands and the feet, I drill a hole 3/4 of an inch deep. And now for the hardest part of the project, trying to thread the cotton string through the skull and midsection. I find that wetting down the string and twisting it helps get it as small as possible to thread it through. And since they say a picture says 1,000 words, here's a quick animation to show how I connected the skeleton parts with the string. And then for a final touch, I'll use some black paint for the eyes and nostrils. Happy Halloween!